going, guys? Mason Corby again here with another tutorial for you guys. So today's tutorial we're going to talk about angle flying and transitions, so how to do transitions from belly and back, just some theory around them and a bit about angles as well, I guess. So today's jump was done down at Byron Bay Skydive at Skydive Australia, okay, down in Byron Bay obviously. Footages from Adriano and myself. Right, so let's crack on with it. So as we know, when we're doing an angle, we're trying to enter it with our head into the relative wind, similar to that of head down, okay? So that way we can try and match essentially the relative wind we're going to be flying out in straight off the door, so we can start flying immediately. Okay, so you can see here the torsos are trying to match, very similar to what the plane's airframe is on as well. Naturally, we are going to fly a little bit steeper than this, okay, because we're pitching ourselves on an angle towards the ground, which gives us that slippage and allows us to move through the sky. Okay, so let's crack on with this. By tilting that slippage and changing the different pitches of our body depends on how it allows us to go up or to go down. So what I'm aiming to do when I'm transitioning, I'm trying to aim to stay on this pitch. If I transition, say from my back, and I transition now to a different pitch, I'm going to go backwards. So I'm really trying to maintain that similar pitch, okay, which is going to allow me to transition then on slot. Generally, if I'm doing this, I'm going to transition up slightly and then down, okay, and then transition up slightly and down. So this is going to allow me for me to counter for that loss in lift for when I transition and point less surface area, the side of my body, to the wind, which is naturally going to make me drop. So if I push up slightly, I'm going to counteract that, and when I change onto the opposite side, I'm going to have the same amount of surface area, which is going to stop me from dropping again. Whereas if I start and I just change without popping up, there is that chance that I'm going to drop, okay? So you can see myself here, I'm approaching the formation, I'm changing the pitch of my body, I'm bringing my arms nice and close. You can see he's on a steeper angle, and this is allowing me to come up to him. I'm not aiming directly for him, I'm aiming for where he's going, okay? So I'm coming at this angle here. Once I start getting closer to him, I'm going to change that pitch to match the same pitch of his body. So you can see now I'm on the same pitch, so I'm going to still continue to come in. Speed is your friend. You can see that last slight change of pitch that I did here, and that allowed me to boost up to him nice and quickly. So I'm matching him. Changed pitch slightly again, and that's pushed me flatter. Now I've broke with my arms, I've moved them to the side, okay, and I've caught drag along the side of my arms, which has allowed me to slow and match his fall rate, otherwise I would continue going straight ahead. Okay, so I've matched his fall rate now. You can see my legs are a bit wider, I'm a bit heavier than him, so I'm going to have to fly in a wider position than what he will. Okay, so you can see that change in position here. My torso matches pretty similar his. I presented the drag out to the side. I've changed again. You can see here my torso in a second goes slightly steeper than his, and that's what takes me away. The top half, just around here, is what allows that makes me drop, because my lower half, which is here, ends up at a higher pitch than him. So let's see in a sec. You can see that the torso has slightly caused separation, so it's made me drop ever so slightly. Okay, now when I'm going to come up to the side and transition, what I'm looking at doing is I'm using him as a reference point. So you'll see on the footage that I'll bring up in a second, I actually fly up to his shoulder, if not past his body, so I can match and I can see that line of his body along the horizon line, and that's what I'm trying to match. I'm using that as a reference point. So I check in my clear, I can see him. Okay, Paddy is over here, he's making sure I've got a clear spot to come up and transition. I'm not going to hose anyone. So I come up to the side, I'm matching, and I'm trying to match this hip here and this torso with his hip, so his, sorry, shoulder, with his shoulder and his hip, okay? Shoulder, hip, shoulder, hip. I want to match these points. Boom. Slightly, I've caused a little bit of drag here. Okay, so my hips have caused me to come back, so I've accelerated with the legs and I've changed my body to drive back in towards the leader. Okay, again, I'm trying to now match shoulder, hip, shoulder, hip. I am probably another 10 kilos heavier than him since I have a wider body. I've also got a baggier jumpsuit on as well. You can see here as well on that side shot, shoulder, hip, really trying to match those torsos. Okay, you can see here the back fly as well, quite matched as well. This is what we're trying to do on the angle. It doesn't matter whether you're steep or shallow, that's what the reference is. Okay, the arms then control your speed forwards or backwards of them. So I'm a heavier person, as I said again, I'm going to fly wider if my torso is matched with his. Okay, then you'll have a similar shape. Okay, so you can see that slight pop that I was talking about. So I've popped up, he's doing a turn on the inside anyway, makes it slightly easier. Don't do a transition on the turns, but you can see my legs now. Okay, they're a bit lower. My bum is a little bit higher, my shoulders is a little bit lower. Okay, so this means I'm going to drop, okay, because I didn't match his torso and match the shoulders and the hips. It's caused me to then drop, but then I've caught it by changing my pitch again, complete opposite way and going more the other way, so lowering my hips and raising my shoulders. And this has kept me with him. Sweet, so let's go and watch that all in fast motion, and then we will watch from my view and I'll show you what I mean by matching the reference I use with his body and the horizon. You can see everyone else's torsos is trying to match the same. If these guys are wanting to speed up, they're going to have to close their arms and close their legs because they're catching more drag than what the leader is. Excellent. So let's now look at the other footage. So this footage is from mine. So the front guys always want to go early on set or go. You're going to have a lot cleaner air from that too, hey? Not fighting for as much. So I'm thinking now, match, okay, brakes. Okay, this is where I come into the transition on the side. Now I fly right up, and this is what I'm looking for. Okay, you can see that tilt. You can see that horizon there. You can see his torso. See my head. I come right up, you can see I'm still on my back. You can see that horizon there. I can match, I can get a very clear shot of what his torso looks like in the position he's in and how I need to match that. Okay, so I fly right past, you can see he's still on my back, and then when I transition, now I have a good reference. I'm also behind him. So I'm not transitioning under him, I'm transitioning almost in front of him. So if I need to make an adjustment now, I can. I'm not going to be gone straight away. I can still stay there, maintain. Speed over. Now I'm really trying to match and look at those shoulders and hips. Okay, I want to be viewing it from slightly in front. Okay, this is a good position. This is what we mean by forward of the group. If you can't see the horizon between your legs, okay, if you can't see the back flies like this, okay, if you're a little bit further down, you can only see the bottom rig, you can't see the three rings, probably not back far enough. Sorry, you're probably not forward far enough, you're probably too far back. Okay, now if I'm going to transition, I'm going to come back to the side so I can match that horizon again. I can check where it looks like, what angle he's on. Probably going to go slightly back because I'm going to go find my back position, so I don't want to be as forward. Now you can see I've transitioned my back quite high. I'm still almost below him, not behind him. Okay. Well, this allows me range, so I'm not going to sink too much. Still matching that horizon. Looking at that torso. So let's watch this in full. Cool, so the points that you should be taking out of this: 1, match the torso, shoulders and hips. 2, use that horizon as the reference, okay? 3, body shape and size and weight matters, okay? If you are 20 kilos heavier than the leader, if you're matching his torso, you probably have to fly at a wider position, okay? If you're skinnier and lighter than the leader, you're probably going to have to fly at a faster position if you're trying to match the torso. If your body and your legs and limbs aren't straight or in a similar position and orientation as the leader, it's probably because you're flying your torso different to them and your controls are different to what the leaders is using as well. So we're aiming to try and fly our entire body as a wing, legs straight, arms straight. Okay, if we're gonna slow down, we're gonna widen our body rather than trying to manipulate and twist it and cork it and do all this kind of thing. Rather than bending the legs and having the legs, if I draw on the horizon, rather than having something like this position, okay, over something like this position, where the torso matches also the legs. I've talked about this in previous videos. So I hope you like the video on transitions, guys. Leave any comments below or questions below. Make sure they are productive. If you'd like to support these videos, plenty of merch in the shop if you want, or just simply leave us a like or subscribe. So really appreciate everyone's input and that you're watching. So cheers, guys. I hope you like this one and you learned something from it. So yeah, thank you.